Another story we're following here at the Hollywood Liberal is Paul Wolfowitz, who is now the head of the World Bank. He was appointed to that office by Bush about a year and a half ago. Wolfowitz, as you may or may not know, was the neocon mastermind behind the Iraq War. He was the one who came up with the plan. He was the go-to guy for Bush and his team in Washington regarding the war, getting it started. He was behind it all. And, you know, as we know, over 3,000 soldiers later, hundreds of thousands of Iraqis, hundreds of billions of dollars being spent and wasted, and the war drags on for who knows how long. So how does Bush take care of old Wolfowitz? He promotes him to head of the World Bank, which is a pretty nice little position if you can get it. Unfortunately, Wolfowitz tried to take a little bit too much power because he gave a girlfriend of his a job and then two separate raises totaling over $61,000 in a short period of time. At the time, his girlfriend, whose name was Shaha Ali Riza, was making over $200,000 a year, or close to $200,000 a year, actually making more than Condoleezza Rice, who's the United States Secretary of State. Of course, she probably deserves more than Condi, even if she's just getting coffee, because Condi doesn't even do that much. Anyway, the World Bank is up in arms about this now, and Wolfowitz is being called to resign. Again, another member of the Bush cabinet, Bush administration being called to resign. Of course, immediately Bush got right behind Wolfowitz, said he's behind him all the way, he doesn't think he should step down. Bush takes care of the people who take care of him, no matter how bad they look. And thing about this now is that the board of directors of the World Bank actually run it together with Wolfowitz, and they actually have a say in what goes on at the bank. A lot of these people didn't like Wolfowitz to start with, didn't think he really deserved the job or that he should have been there. They weren't happy with his management style, and they just didn't like him. So this situation makes everything seem so much worse. Wolfowitz is supposed to be handling corruption, and meanwhile he's in the center of his own corruption. There's been a lot of emails flying around inside of the World Bank, and everybody wants him out. They have not acted on this as of yet, supposedly maybe to give him time to resign, to step down, but if he doesn't, there's a very good chance that he'll end up getting fired by the World Bank. So we're going to be following that story this week on thehollywoodliberal.com. We should be knowing more about it by the end of the week. Also last week I got to go to a house party put on by MoveOn.org, where via teleconferencing they had 8 presidential candidates who were going to be running for a presidency in 2008. MoveOn invited every major candidate who's running so far. They got the 7 people that they did get to come, all 7 Democrats. No Republicans wanted to step up and debate what's going on in the world today. They're having 2 more of these in the coming near future. The subject of the one they had this week was the Iraq War, and they've had people like Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bill Richardson, the governor of New Mexico, Dennis Kucinich, and everybody else who's running for the Democrats. Each and every one of them showed that they wanted to get out of Iraq as soon as possible. Everybody now realizes it was a whole big mistake. Everybody wants out. John Edwards was also there. He admitted that he voted for the war at first, but now he admitted that it was a big mistake. Edwards looked really good. He's turning into a front runner in this campaign. I've been kind of ignoring him up until this point. I didn't even mention him when I did a candidate rundown recently. But John Edwards is starting to look very good. Of course, my favorite was Dennis Kucinich, who has been against the war from the start, and is the only one who ever said so in no uncertain terms right from the beginning. Overall, the Democrats made a great showing. It's obvious that any one of the 7 would be a 20 times better president than we all have right now with George W. Bush and Dick Cheney. So it's just a matter of time. It looks like Rudy Giuliani is going to be the nominee for the Republicans as of right now. It seems Rudy's been taking some heat lately about a couple of incidents that happened during the time that he was the mayor of New York City, where Rudy decided to show up in drag, once for Saturday Night Live and another time for another event, so he did it on 2 separate occasions. There were lots of pictures taken, and Rudy, who's supposed to be this big tough mobster and mobster fighter, apparently likes to dress in women's clothing. Of course, the Republicans may not be too happy about that. The debate is going on now as to if it's going to hurt him in the polls. So far, he is the front runner. John McCain, who we have talked about the last couple of weeks, his campaign has taken a big nosedive. He is not raising half the funds that Giuliani is, and McCain is now talking about spending less money because he's making less, and he's looking like he's heading out of the primaries, heading out before the primaries even start. Rudy Giuliani now becomes the front runner. There was a story today that says that Rudy's very popular with Republicans throughout the United States, but in his own home city of New York, where he was the mayor, he is not very popular at all. That's because the people of New York know the real Rudy. They had to deal with him for 8 years while he was the mayor of New York. And everybody else only knows about him from that one day on 9/11 when he did step up and he did do a good job that day. I had to give him his credit. He looked good. Of course, Bush was flying around the country hiding from the terrorists that day and afraid to come out of hiding. So the question now becomes, will this become a problem for Rudy, and then maybe somebody else will step up and take the lead. Of course, there's still over a year to go before the election, so anything can happen. All right, we'll be following all these stories and a lot more on the Hollywood Liberal this week, so come on by and check us out. We do a mixture of news, commentary, comics, and all kinds of great stuff, and a lot of videos. We have videos from all the candidates from the debate that I was at earlier this week that I told you about. So everything in its entirety is up on the site, so come on by and see it. All right, that's it. See you next week. Have a good week. Talk to you later. Bye.